Please subscribe before watching the movie. Welcome back to Movies Recapped. Today I am going to recap a 2012 drama movie named Little 13. So let's begin. Sarah, a 13-year-old young girl, is born into a life of sex, and she is definitely used to sex. She says she loves the pleasure it gives, the way it makes her feel, and the way she reacts to the touch too. It's marvelous. But the issue is she doesn't have just one sexual. She claims she usually assumes every man on her is the same person, although all the pleasure sex brings dies immediately after the man releases his sperm. She lives with her mother, Doreen, who is just noted. Doreen lives in with her boyfriend Mike, and in the first scene of the movie, Sarah sits beside Mike, who wants to change the channel of the movie she is watching, but she stops him. Doreen comes in wearing her clothes. She complains that Doreen will enlarge her clothes because Doreen is fat, but Doreen refuses to remove them. She comes towards them and she sits on Mike's legs, and with split seconds, Mike removes the dress from her body and they are suddenly all over each other. Sarah leaves them in the sitting room and then goes to have a video call with her 16-year-old best friend. While she and Charlie have the most absurd conversation, Charlie's little brother sneaks into the room, and when Charlie notices the boy, she sends him away. Sarah tells Charlie that she met a boy online and he is a high school student. She tells Charlie how excited she is to meet this boy physically. Meanwhile, the boy Lucas is at home with his friend. Lucas receives a visitor, one of the random girls. He meets online and they take each other to a back room where they have sex. As they have sex, his best friend Sak videos them after the intercourse. Lucas sits with Daijin Sak as they watch the girl leave. The girls walk past them and greet them goodbye. Later they see her walk back and Daijin Sak asks why she is coming back. Lucas assumes that she has forgotten something, and when the girl picks up what she forgot, she walks away. Daijin Sak asks Lucas about his new babe, and Lucas tells him her name is Sarah. Daijin Sak asks when Lucas becomes interested in his sexual partners, and he tells him it's only because Sarah insists he calls her by her name. Another day during breakfast with his parents, Lucas tells his mother he needs her car that night. She tells him she is going on the night shift and needs her car too. He asks his father to drive his mother to work, but his father refuses, telling him he could drive his mother to work. On the other hand, his mother refuses to let him drive her to work. They settle the confusion and Lucas gets a car to take for his trio to Sarah's home at home. Charlie and Sarah are in the bathroom, and Charlie is helping Sarah to clean up herself for the main date. She helps Sarah shave and asks her if she doesn't shave regularly. Charlie hears the persistent noises of Mike and Doreen and asks Sarah if she isn't disturbed about it, but Sarah says she has left them to their thing. A few minutes later they hear a doorbell. Sarah shouts that the visitor is for her and asks Doreen to help her with her visitor while she keeps cleaning up. Before opening the door, Doreen arranges her hair to look beautiful. She opens the door for Lucas and she invites him in. She shouts to Sarah in the bathroom that she should clean up early and screams that Sarah shouldn't finish her shaving cream. She asks Lucas to sit down and she asks if he would like a beer. He replies affirmatively and she brings a beer for him, while Mike also says he wants a. She returns and sits in the middle of Mike and Lucas. She helps Lucas open his drink and engages him in a conversation. She touches him and says she has seen his profile from Sarah and he looks more handsome than the profile. Maine notices she is flirting. He excuses himself to go to the bathroom, knocks at the door and Charlie opens the door. He doesn't know Charlie is around and he tries to engage her in a converse. Sarah peeps out and tells him they are dressing up. He tells them Doreen is on heat and they should be fast, so Sarah comes out half naked and tells Lucas she will be done soon. Later, the girls follow Lucas and his friend Sak away. They drive happily as they drink and listen to music. Later, the boys stop the car at a place. Sarah wonders what they are going to the place for, and Charlie assumes it's for drugs. They scream that the boys should drop the key so they can at least listen to music before the boys get back. And while they try to check the front seats, they find a video camera. They pick it up and try to check what's in it. Daijin Sak returns and asks them to drop the camera off immediately while Lucas enters the. He meets with three men who watch the sex video he made and say they can't feel anything. They remind him they had told him to only sell them videos of younger girls with a great. For his bad video, they offer him 40. He first refuses it and asks for 80, but when he finds out they do not want to increase the money, he takes it and uses 20 out of it to buy drugs. He returns to his friends and they attempt to enter a bar. However, the bouncer, who figures they are too young to be inside a bar, refuses to let them enter. He sends them away and the girls cause trouble with some of the other guests around before eventually finding their way out. They go to a free age bar where they drink, talk, play, and kiss. They return home and they meet again at a camp. The four of them speak and play together until Charlie drags Daijin-sak away. They find another spot where they start kissing and touching each other with Lucas. Sarah wants to touch and lay with him, as she has always done with every other guy she meets, but he refuses. He tells her they don't need to have sex on their first date, but she reminds him. That's the second time they are meeting. She asks him if he doesn't want to lay with her, but he tells her it's not about her. She is beautiful and attractive. He wants them to take it slow. With Charlie, they proceed to have sex and Daijin-sak asks her if she is with a condom. She tells him she doesn't have one, and when he intends to stop, she asks him to continue. She reassures him. She is on birth control and she can't get pregnant, so he buys into her idea and have sex with her. Meanwhile, Lucas asks Sarah to tell him, but she says she is sure Doreen has said it all. He asks about Doreen and asks if her mother is always like that. The other two return and they leave for home. Sarah dreams of having something special with Lucas. He starts staying at her place, although they still can't have sex. One day he starts giving her a blowjob and she moans to his touch until Doreen starts peeping. When Lucas notices, he feels off balance and stops. She goes out to meet Du, who asks her how Lucas is contrary to how they share everything with each other. She refuses to share Lucas with her. On the other hand, Charlie realizes she is pregnant and as a result, she can't take the job she is meant to take and she is lost in thoughts as regards how to find a father for her child. Meanwhile, Daijin-sak asks Lucas why he hasn't done a sex video with Sarah since she is within the age bracket they want, but Lucas tells him he will never do such to Sarah. Daijin-sak teases him that he is in love. Charlie tells Sarah about the baby and they both go to a supermarket to steal baby items. They enter a lingerie store where they take some new things and beg one of the staff to throw them in the trash bin for them. At Charlie's home, her abusive father attempts to enter and meet her mother, Yvonne, but her mother insists on not opening the door. Sarah tells Charlie that if she wants to get child maintenance from the government, she has to show the child's father. So she advised her to find the guys in her options and chose one. That night, they both search the lingerie company's trash bin and they take the lingerie. Charlie tells Sarah that she will attempt to meet 3 of the men in her life at home. After Doreen finishes intercourse with Mike, they get into an argument. She tells him he doesn't satisfy her, and he has just 3 styles, groupie on top and doggy. He calls her a slut and a whore and says she DRS on every guy she meets. He tells her she is. And he doesn't want her. She starts crying and Sarah pets her before going to meet Lucas. Charlie meets with one of her guys while Lucas and Sarah have sex in the car. On Sarah's way home, Charlie calls her and tells her the guy is a bastard and she doesn't think she will attend the party. Charlie goes to a bar to look for Mike. Meanwhile, Lucas and Sarah continue their sex at home. He attempts to video, which she refuses at first as they get intimate. Doreen comes to their bed. She strips herself and puts herself in their midst. When Sarah complains, she tells Sarah to leave at the bar. Charlie eventually meets Mike after some interaction that isn't shown. Mike gives her a glass and asks her to give a toast to their relationship. He tells her what happened between them was special, but she refuses that there was them. Then she walks away at home. Lucas leaves Sarah and starts making out with Doreen. He fingers her and touches her so much that she moans loudly. Sarah feels neglected and talks, so they both start touching her. Charlie walks out of the bar and Mike walks after her and tells her to see a shooting. He tells her he wishes for them to be together, but she tells him that's his mistake, is what people wish for rarely comes to pass. The next day, Sarah walks around angrily. While Lucas looks at the threesome sex video he recorded, he contemplates deleting the scenes and he eventually does. On the other hand, Sarah sits alone at a place where she comments that everything around sucks and the movie ends. So I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to subscribe our channel and hit the like button.